Life is gonna hit you hard. I'm talking about setbacks, failures, losses, the kind that make you wanna quit. But let me tell you something. The real ones, the ones who make it to the top, they don't stay down. They bounce back, because setbacks ain't stop signs, they're setups for comebacks. You see, the difference between winners and everyone else, it ain't talent, it ain't luck. It's the ability to get up when life knocks you down. When you feel like you can't go any further, that's the exact moment you gotta dig deep and push forward. You gotta develop the art of bouncing back. So today, I need you to do one thing: lock in. Because by the time we're done, you won't just survive your setbacks. You lose them to fuel your next level. Pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. This is a truth that separates those who rise from those who stay down. Pain is something every single one of us experiences. It comes in different forms: failure, disappointment, heartbreak, rejection, loss. But no matter what shape it takes, pain has one thing in common: it doesn't last forever. It feels like it will, but it won't. What does last is the person you become because of it. Growth is what remains. Growth is what defines you. When you're in the middle of pain, it consumes everything. It blinds you, tricks you into believing that this is all there is. Your mind starts playing games, making you think there's no way out, no future beyond the suffering you're experiencing. But pain is a test. It's life asking you, how bad do you want it? How much are you willing to endure? Because the reality is, the most successful people in the world, the ones who have achieved greatness, they didn't avoid pain. They faced it head on. They embraced it. They used it as fuel. Think about every champion, every legend, every person who has ever changed the game. They all have a story of pain. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. He could have quit right there, let the pain define him. But instead, he turned it into fuel, locked himself in the gym, worked harder than anyone else, and became the greatest basketball player of all time. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. She could have accepted that pain, let it break her, but she didn't. She grew through it, proved them wrong, and became one of the most influential media moguls in history. The problem is, most people run from pain. They try to avoid it, numb it, escape it. They quit when things get hard. They stop pushing when it starts to hurt. But that's the difference between winners and everyone else. Winners understand that pain is a necessary part of the process. You don't grow in comfort. You don't evolve when everything is easy. Growth happens in the struggle, in the moments when you feel like you can't take another step but decide to take it anyway. Pain is a sign that you're being stretched, that you're stepping into new territory, that you're being molded into a stronger version of yourself, but it's temporary. No matter how intense it feels right now, it will pass. The sleepless nights, the heartbreak, the failures, the moments when you feel like you've got nothing left, none of it is permanent. But the version of you that comes out on the other side, that's forever. That's who you become. Most people want the reward without the struggle. They want success, but they don't want the pain that comes with it. They want greatness, but they don't want the discomfort of growth. They want to be at the top, but they're not willing to climb. And that's why they never make it, because they don't understand that pain is part of the price. There is no success without sacrifice, no progress without struggle, no growth without pain. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing pain as something to fear, see it as an opportunity. Every setback, every failure, every moment of suffering is an opportunity to learn, to improve, to build resilience. When life knocks you down, instead of saying, "Why me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me?" When you face adversity, instead of running, face it. Because the more you endure, the stronger you become. The more you push through, the more unstoppable you get. You have to train yourself to embrace the struggle. When you feel pain, when you hit that breaking point, that's when you dig deeper. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Because the truth is, you are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you believe. The only thing standing between you and the next level is your ability to push through the pain. Most people never reach their full potential because they stop when it gets hard. They let temporary discomfort keep them from permanent growth. But if you can develop the mindset that pain is not the enemy, that it's actually the pathway to everything you want, you become unstoppable. The greatest version of you is on the other side of struggle, but you have to be willing to walk through the fire to get there. Pain will come, that's guaranteed. But how you respond to it, that's what determines your future. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. Every moment of struggle is a moment of transformation. Every hardship is shaping you, preparing you, strengthening you for the next level. The truth is, the people who go the furthest in life are not the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who use it. They take their struggles and turn them into fuel. They take their failures and turn them into lessons. They take their pain and turn it into power, because they understand that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. Your mindset determines your comeback. It's not the failure itself that decides your future. It's how you think about it, how you react to it, and what you do after it happens. Everyone experiences setbacks, disappointments, and moments that feel like complete defeat. But the difference between those who stay down and those who rise again is found in their mindset. It's not talent, luck, or resources, it's the way they think when they're at their lowest. Most people see failure as the end. They take a hit, and instead of fighting back, they start telling themselves stories about why they can't win, why they weren't good enough, why it wasn't meant to be. They let the failure become their identity instead of using it as fuel. But the ones who make a comeback, the ones who turn their pain into power, have a different perspective. They see failure as feedback. They see obstacles as opportunities. They see every setback as a setup for something greater. The mind is the most powerful tool you have. It will either work for you or against you, depending on how you train it. When life knocks you down, your mind immediately starts running through a cycle of thoughts. If you don't control those thoughts, they will control you. Your brain will tell you to give up, to stop trying, to accept defeat. But if you've trained yourself to think like a winner, you'll hear a different voice. You'll hear the voice that says, "Get up, adjust, keep going." The way you talk to yourself in those moments determines everything. Think about every great comeback story in history. The athletes who suffered career-ending injuries only to return stronger than ever. The entrepreneurs who lost everything only to build something even greater. The people who were counted out, doubted, rejected who still found a way to win. None of them had an easy road. None of them had a straight path to success. The only thing they had was an uncheckable mindset that refused to accept failure as the final result. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you tell yourself you're done, you'll act like it. If you tell yourself you can't, you won't even try. But if you train your mind to believe that every failure is a lesson, that every struggle is making you stronger, then no obstacle will be able to hold you back. The moment you shift your mindset, you shift your reality. Most people don't understand how powerful their mind is. They think motivation is enough, that watching a few inspirational videos will change their life, but motivation fades. What lasts is discipline, and discipline starts in the mind. It's the decision to keep moving forward even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to push through pain, fear, and doubt because you've already decided that quitting is not an option. Your comeback begins the moment you take control of your thoughts. When you fail, when you fall short, when things don't go the way you planned, that's when the real test begins. Will you let the setback define you, or will you use it to fuel your next move? Will you let the pain break you, or will you let it shape you into something stronger? The answer to those questions is found in your mindset. Look at the people who have made the biggest impact in the world. They weren't the most talented. They weren't the luckiest. They were the ones who refused to stay down. They were the ones who trained their minds to see opportunity in every obstacle. They were the ones who understood that their thoughts would either push them forward or hold them back. The way you think about failure determines how you respond to it. The way you see struggle determines whether you rise or fall. If you believe that every challenge is temporary, that every setback is a stepping stone, then nothing can stop you. But if you let failure break you, if you let it define your limits, then you've already lost. Training your mindset is not easy. It takes time, repetition, and relentless effort. It means reprogramming the way you think, replacing self-doubt with self-belief, replacing excuses with action. It means looking at every loss as a lesson and every struggle as a chance to grow. When you master your mindset, you master your future. Fail forward, reduce setbacks as setups. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of it. The people who succeed at the highest level, not the ones who avoid failure, but the ones who learn how to use it. They don't see failure as a stop sign, they see it as a stepping stone. Every great success story is filled with failures, mistakes, and moments where everything seemed to fall apart. But the difference between those who win and those who quit is perspective. The people who win know that failure is not final. It is feedback. It is a lesson. It is a chance to grow, improve, and come back stronger. Most people fear failure. They see it as something to be ashamed of, something to avoid at all costs. Because of that fear, they never take risks, never push themselves outside their comfort zones, and never truly go after what they want. But the people who achieve greatness have a completely different mindset. They expect failure. They embrace it. They know that the only way to learn what works is to first learn what doesn't. Every setback gives them new information. Every mistake teaches them a lesson they couldn't have learned any other way. If you look at the most successful people in the world, you'll see that they failed more times than most people even tried. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Most people would have quit after the first few attempts, convinced that it wasn't possible. But Edison understood that every failure brought him one step closer to success. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. That failure could have destroyed him. Instead, he used it as fuel. He worked harder than ever, turned his weaknesses into strengths, and became a legend. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Steve Jobs was kicked out of the company he started. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers. The list goes on and on. The one thing all these people had in common was their ability to fail forward. Failing forward means refusing to let failure define you. It means looking at every setback as a setup for something greater. When something doesn't go the way you planned, you don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself. You analyze, you adjust, and you move forward. You take the lessons from your failures and apply them to your next move. Instead of seeing failure as an end, you see it as a beginning. Instead of letting it break you, you let it build you. Most people give up too soon because they misunderstand what failure really is. They think failure means they aren't good enough, that they don't have what it takes, that their dream is impossible. But failure doesn't mean any of those things. It simply means that the strategy you used didn't work. That's it. And the only way to figure out what works is to go through what doesn't. Failure is a necessary part of success because it teaches you things that success never could. The problem is that most people are too focused on their emotions when they fail. They feel embarrassed, frustrated, or discouraged, and they let those emotions control their actions. But emotions are temporary. If you let a temporary emotion cause you to quit, you will never reach your full potential. The key is to separate failure from your identity. Just because you failed doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you are in the process of becoming successful. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just part of the journey. The truth is, failure is one of the best teachers you will ever have. It gives you direct feedback on what works and what doesn't. It forces you to grow, adapt, and improve. Every time you fail, you gain experience, you gain knowledge, you gain resilience. If you never fail, it means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. It means you're playing it safe. And playing it safe will never lead to greatness. Failing forward requires a shift in mindset. It means training yourself to see every setback as an opportunity. It means looking for the lesson in every loss. It means refusing to let failure shake your confidence or stop your progress. The moment you start seeing failure as a necessary part of success, everything changes. Instead of fearing it, you start embracing it. Instead of avoiding it, you start using it. Instead of running from it, you start learning from it. When you fail forward, there is no such thing as losing, only learning. Discipline over motivation show up every day. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, rising in moments of excitement and disappearing when things get tough. People wait for motivation, thinking they need to feel inspired before they take action. But the truth is, if you rely on motivation alone, you will never be consistent. You will never reach your full potential. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who feel motivated every day. They are the ones who have the discipline to show up even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates the successful from the average. It is the ability to commit to a goal and follow through no matter how you feel. When you wake up tired, when you face obstacles, when nothing seems to be working, discipline is what keeps you moving. It is the habit of doing the hard things even when no one is watching. It is pushing forward when everything in you wants to stop. Discipline is showing up every single day and doing what needs to be done. No matter what, most people start strong. They get excited about a goal. They feel inspired, and they take action. But as soon as that initial excitement wears off, they slow down, they make excuses, they tell themselves they'll start again tomorrow, next week, or next month. That cycle repeats over and over again, and they never make real progress. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that successful people don't wait for the right feeling. They take action regardless of how they feel. They don't ask themselves if they feel like working out. They just do it. They don't ask themselves if they're in the mood to work on their goals. They get to work anyway. The problem with motivation is that it is based on emotion, and emotions are unpredictable. One day you feel inspired, the next day you don't. One moment you're excited, the next moment you're doubtful. If you build your life around motivation, you will never be consistent because you will only act when it's easy. Discipline, on the other hand, does not rely on emotion. It is built on commitment. It is making a decision and sticking to it, no matter what. The best athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the people who accomplish extraordinary things, they don't feel motivated every day. They struggle just like everyone else. The difference is that they have trained themselves to push through the moments when they don't feel like it. They understand that success is built in the daily grind, in the small, consistent actions that add up over time. Every rep in the gym, every extra hour of work, every sacrifice, they all compound into greatness. The key to building discipline is creating non-negotiable habits. When something is non-negotiable, it means you do it no matter what. It means that skipping a workout is not an option. It means that working on your craft every day is not up for debate. It means that you don't rely on your feelings to determine your actions. You rely on your commitment. When you make something a habit, it becomes a part of who you are. You don't think about it. You just do it. Most people want quick results. They want success overnight. They want to see progress immediately. But discipline is about playing the long game. It is about showing up every day, even when the results aren't visible yet. It is trusting the process, knowing that every small effort is adding up. The people who quit early are the ones who expect instant gratification. They want motivation to carry them all the way, but motivation runs out. The ones who win are the ones who understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Building discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. There will be days when you fall short, but what matters is that you don't let those days turn into weeks, months, or years of inaction. Discipline is getting back on track immediately, without hesitation. It is learning to hold yourself accountable, to push yourself when no one else is pushing you. The more you train your discipline, the stronger it gets. The more you show up, the easier it becomes. Over time, discipline turns into a lifestyle, and that lifestyle leads to success. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not motivation. It is discipline. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. The real test is not how you perform when you feel inspired. It is how you perform when you don't. The people who achieve their goals, the people who make an impact, the people who rise to the top, they are the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. Resilience is built in the struggle. It's not something you're born with. It's something you develop through experience. The people who are the strongest, the toughest, the most unbreakable, they didn't get that way by living an easy life. They got that way by going through the fire, by facing adversity, by refusing to back down when life got hard. Resilience is not about avoiding struggle, it's about learning how to thrive in it. It's about using every challenge, every obstacle, and every setback as an opportunity to grow. Most people want success without struggle. They want greatness without pain. They want to win without ever experiencing loss. But that's not how life works. The struggle is where strength is built. The adversity you face is shaping you, molding you, preparing you for the next level. Every difficulty you overcome adds another layer to your foundation. Every time you push through pain, you become stronger. Every time you refuse to quit, you build the kind of resilience that nothing can break. The reality is, life is going to test you. It's going to throw challenges at you that make you question whether you have what it takes. You will experience failure. You will deal with rejection. You will have moments where everything seems to be falling apart. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can break, or you can build. You can let the struggle defeat you, or you can let it shape you into something greater. The people who rise to the top are the ones who don't let struggle define them. They don't see difficulty as a reason to quit, they see it as a reason to push harder. They understand that every challenge is an opportunity. Every obstacle is a test of their character. Every setback is a chance to prove to themselves what they're really made of. Resilience is about refusing to stay down. It's about standing up one more time than you fall. It's about showing up even when everything in you wants to give up. Think about the greatest success stories. They all have one thing in common: struggle. No one who has ever achieved something great did it without facing adversity. The most successful people in the world didn't just wake up one day and find themselves at the top. They went through years of setbacks, failures, and hardships. They had moments where they wanted to quit, but they didn't. They kept going. They kept fighting. They kept pushing forward no matter what stood in their way. The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they run from struggle instead of embracing it. They want things to be easy. They want the shortcut. But the shortcut doesn't build resilience. It doesn't make you stronger. The only way to develop real strength, real toughness, real unshakable confidence is by going through the struggle and coming out on the other side. Struggle forces you to grow in ways that comfort never will. When everything is easy, you don't develop grit. You don't develop the ability to push through pain. You don't learn what you're truly capable of. It's only when you're tested, when you're pushed to your limits, when you feel like you have nothing left but still keep going, that's when you discover your true power. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about using it. It's about finding meaning in the struggle. It's about turning pain into power. The strongest people aren't the ones who never struggled. They're the ones who struggled the most and still came out on top. They are the ones who took every hardship and turned it into a lesson, every failure and turned it into motivation, every setback and turned it into a setup for a greater comeback. You don't become resilient by avoiding pain, you become resilient by facing it head on, by choosing to grow instead of giving up, by deciding that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. That mindset, that refusal to be defeated, is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about resources. It's about the ability to endure, to push through, to refuse, to quit when things get hard. Most people don't realize how strong they really are because they've never been pushed to their limits. They've never allowed themselves to struggle long enough to see what they're truly capable of. But the moment you stop avoiding difficulty, The moment you start embracing the struggle, everything changes. You start to see challenges differently. You stop being afraid of failure. You stop letting setbacks control you. You start to realize that every tough moment is making you stronger. Every obstacle is preparing you for something bigger, and every struggle is building a level of resilience that will allow you to overcome anything.